Hi everyone. I'm going to do a quick video of my garden to show you what I've been doing. I haven't put up any craft videos lately because I've been so busy working on some other projects other than craft, and this garden is one of them, and I love my garden. As you can see, I've got a big fence, a tall fence around it, and that keeps the deer out because we do have a lot of deer here, and so it was necessary to do that. The gardens that we've had in the past were totally eaten up by the deer. On the bottom, we also added chicken wire and buried some of the chicken wire into the ground to keep moles and rabbits out. Okay, here's another angle of the garden. It's 16 by 30. And so most of the work that we've done so far on it was putting the fence up. And so now the rest of it's going to be a whole lot easier. Okay, the type of gardening that I'm doing is hay bale gardening, and it's a really cool way to do it. It's low maintenance, and you can use straw bale or hay bale. A lot of people don't recommend the hay bale because it is possibly full of seeds. That's the part that they feed the livestock. But I haven't had any problems with seeds growing from the hay bales, so I think it really kind of depends on my part what I can get for the best price. And right here, you see I got some landscaping cloth, and I think eventually I'm going to add plenty of straw down there in a real thick layer, and use the Ruth Stout gardening technique and plant some potatoes. And so if I go ahead and put the straw down, it'll be conditioned really good for fall planting. And as you can see, I got my little greenhouse in there. Initially we had it set up outside the fence and realized since it's going to be open like that the deer or rabbits can get to it. So we ended up putting it inside the fence line, which is fine with me. And I'm going to ease around here. This is the other side of it. I've got my little swing sitting there and my water hose close by, and all of this right here is some leftover pieces that we had to put the fence up, and we're still not quite through, so we're going to have to use some more of those items that's left laying there before we put them up. Okay. Okay, going into the garden area. And I'm going to try to ease in here without spinning around too much and making y'all dizzy. Alright, starting from this side, I've got 3 little squash plants that I just put in. And of course I got my marigolds there. Down here on this end, all those tall pieces that you see are okra. And we did add some baskets there at the top to support them because they're probably going to get a lot taller. And they're doing really good. These okra plants I put in were plants that I bought at the store. I think I got them at Lowe's. And they're doing really good. I had one little problem with some aphids on one of the leaves, and I just sprayed some soap water on it, and that took care of that problem. Over here in the corner, I've got my rosemary growing. And right here on this end, I've got a couple more summer squash. Down here on the side of the bale, I planted right there some oregano, and then I've got my fresh thyme and parsley, and I planted them on the side so they'll have more partial shade like they need, because the sun can get so intense. And I'm going to go ahead and back up here without turning much to keep you from getting dizzy. Okay, on this row I have some potting soil on top of that bale, and I planted some carrots, and that didn't work. What I found out is the little teeny tiny seeds, I don't have good luck with them. So they need to be in the seedling tray environment in order to grow and sprout. It gets too hot and dry in the sun, so they did not survive. And so I'm going to start some in a seedling tray and then plant them when they get a good size. Right here I've got some leeks growing. And on this row right here is hot peppers. I love hot peppers. So I got plenty of hot peppers, and they're doing great. I got one good pepper going right there. That's my first pepper. Here on the end I've got fresh basil, doing really good. And I put this basket here with the shade cloth so I can pull the shade down over it, because during the days of 100-degree temperatures it gets too hot for that. So the shade cloth protects it. Next to that I got some fresh marjoram. And right here I've got some cantaloupe growing, and I just put the seed in that soil right there, and it did real good. I have better luck with the big seeds than I do with the tiny seeds, so that works really good. And I'm going to back up this way and turn. Right here is some more cantaloupe, and we had to move the bales, and it's showing really weak right now, but the cantaloupe's doing great. They're still growing, no problem. The bales are trying to break down, and so eventually we will put some support around it. And you can see on the ground there where the bales were, there's no grass. And that's an indication how well, I mean, you can just set these bales up right on top of grass. You don't have to clear the grass at all. And you can see that it takes care of that problem. You don't have to worry about it. You also see my soaker hoses laying around like they are. We need to put them back up on the bales. We took them down when we were moving the bales around, and just need to rearrange them again, and that's the reason you see them laying on the ground. But I haven't had to worry about watering because we've had so much rain, so it's not been a problem. Right here I've got some green beans going, and I planted those right there in the soil, and they did good. They came up, and they're doing great. So that's some green beans. And we tried to put all the climbing vegetables on the side to grow up on this cattle panel. Under here I've got some cucumbers, and they're doing really good. When I first put them in, they were really kind of pitiful, and the sun was so intense that by mid-afternoon they would be laying flat on the bale. And so my husband set up a shade cloth awning, and if it gets real bad I can pull it all the way down, but right now it's just like an awning, and when it does rain they still get water, not a problem, and they really seem to love the shade, so that's helped a lot. And I've got lots of blooms going on there. Down here, this humongous growth going on here is my zucchini plant, and it has really taken off. I'm putting some pictures at the front here to show you how I got started, and the zucchini plant was really pitiful again, but now they've just taken off. Absolutely love this kind of growing condition. The only thing that I've done so far since I put all these plants in the bales is give it one dose of that fish emulsion, and that's the only thing I've done. There's no weeding, no hoeing, nothing like that. And because we've had so much rain, I haven't even had to water them, so it's really been maintenance free, and I'm thrilled about that. Here's some tomato plants. And I've got some tomatoes here. It's kind of hard to tell if I'm getting it focused because I'm outside. Okay, there's some tomatoes. And some more tomatoes right there. This little corner, we just stuffed some hay there, so it's really not a solid bale. It's just hay that we stuffed in the corner and planted the plant. So it's doing just fine. Some more tomato plants. And over here, this tall stalk right here is a tomato cherry bush, and it's getting really tall. And so far, all the plants that I have planted seem to love this type of gardening. The nice thing about it is, even with all the rain, the plants are not just sitting in the ground, sitting in water and causing root rot or anything like that. It has excellent drainage, but it also protects the roots from drying out completely. Right here I have some more peppers, and these are sweet peppers. Doing really good. And this bale right here, I planted some celery seeds. They're tiny, tiny seeds, and I just don't have good luck with the tiny seeds. And so I need to start them in a seedling tray, and I'll show you that in just a moment. When we first got our bales of hay, we went to our little local garden shop, and they only had 3, and we got what they had. And I think they were just last year's or old because they just broke down real fast, and that's what's happened to this. And I think I'm going to just take that bale right there and put it at the far end and start the mulching for the potatoes, and then just replace with another bale there. And you see I've got plenty of space here. I can keep adding more bales down the side and condition them over time and then use them as well. There again, no tilling. Nothing like that, no weeding. Just set them down, let them condition, and then you can plant and you're good to go. Right here is my little greenhouse area, and my husband bought me this greenhouse for my birthday. I love it. And so he helped me put the shade cloth on, and we also put the plastic on one side of it, and that's just to protect all these little seedlings right here from the heavy, heavy rain, and that was the reason for putting the plastic there. And in the winter time, we can put the outside plastic that came with the greenhouse. It's got doors and windows, and it's heavy-duty plastic, and it'll protect from the winter weather. Okay, inside my little greenhouse, I've got my starter trays, and this is the seed starter trays I was talking about, and I bought, let me show you the inside. It has 12 cells, and you plant your seed. It has the little drainage dish underneath as well, that little white dish. And then it has the dome. And you can get a set of these. It's got 120 cells. And I got this on Amazon. I think it was like $13 on Amazon. But that's the only way I've had any success with seedlings is to use these little seed trays, and I highly recommend it if you had that same problem. It's just so work-free. You plant them and leave them, and then they grow. So easy. You don't have to keep worrying about them. And that was the only way I've had any success. And then when they get a certain size, I plant them in a bigger container, which is what I've done here. These are radishes, and from everything I've read, you're not supposed to transplant. It's not a good idea to transplant your radishes after you've planted a seed, but I did. And all of this is going to be experimental for me, y'all. But they're doing good, and I planted these, I think about 4 or 5 days ago, and they're still doing good. And these 2 little containers are some radishes that was left over in the seed tray. It doesn't look like a couple of them. They got kind of leggy, so a couple of them are not doing really good, but I'm just going to leave them and see what they do. And I had some big plastic jars that my husband cut in half for me, and we put some holes in the bottom, and that's what I'm using for those little seed trays. Okay, so over here are some beets that I started in the seed tray. This is some beets, and so I have transplanted them into these little cups. These are the little fruit cups. I got this at Walmart for a set of 20 cups. They have little lids, and I put holes in the bottom of them, so I couldn't find the plastic drinking cups that I wanted, so I ended up getting these, and I think they're going to work out all right. And then I got some of these trays down here at the dollar store. I think it was like 2 trays for $1, and so that works good there. And there's another half of a plastic jar. I got some beets growing in this. I got some fresh mushrooms at the grocery store, and I just saved that little plastic container and put holes in it, and I got some more beets there. In this little tray is my summer squash, and I showed you where I had planted some on the bales, and this is what's left, so I have to decide where I'm going to plant these. But anyway, they were started in that little starter tray. Down here, I've got cauliflower, and they're doing really good. And some more cauliflower there. Okay, right here is Brussels sprouts. And here's another tray of Brussels sprouts right here. Okay. And on this side is some more bales that I've had some potting mix on. I did plant some beet seeds, and as you can see, only one of them came up. There again, I just didn't have luck with the small seeds, so that's the reason for me starting another tray of beet seeds like I just showed you, because nothing came up out of this bed. Anyway, I can plant the beets once they get a good size right here. I love fresh beets. Don't care for them out of the can at all. Okay, so I think that's all. I laid this landscaping cloth all through here, and that keeps the grass down where I don't have to worry about grass, and I love that part. That keeps my work down. So that's my garden, y'all, and I'm trying to think if I left anything out. If you have any questions, just leave me a question down at the bottom. I'll be glad to try to answer them any way I can. There's lots of YouTubes out there to show how to get started on this type of gardening. I've done a lot of research, and it's been very helpful. I wanted to learn as much as I can about plants and how to care for them, and so that's where I spend a lot of my time. So I appreciate y'all watching. Have a great weekend. Bye.